Hi, this is Owen Lewis with the Valencia College News Network, reporting to you on the Bootleg Fire. The Bootleg Fire began on July 6, 2021, about 15 miles northwest of the town of Beatty, Oregon, in the south central area of the state. It was finally fully contained on August 15th, over a month after the fire began, but not before burning to the enormous size of 413,717 acres of land. For some context, that is larger than the entirety of New York City, the most populous urban area in the United States. The Bootleg Fire started the way most naturally occurring wildfires begin: lightning. In the early afternoon, lightning struck the Oregon countryside, providing the initial spark for the Bootleg Fire. The area where the fire began is mostly composed of dry grass and shrubs, the perfect material for wildfires to catch on and spread quickly. The countless square miles of this environment in this part of Oregon, coupled with the extremely dry weather, only aided in this expansion. The big question is, why was this area so dry? Well, part of the reason is completely natural. South Central Oregon is located to the east of the Cascade Range, a mountain chain running through most of the Pacific Northwest, with many peaks crossing the 10,000 feet mark. This range itself is located directly east of the Pacific Ocean, so when clouds come off the ocean onto dry land, a rain shadow effect occurs, resulting in an eastern side of the mountains that is much drier than the western side of the range. The other reasons for dryness in the region were also naturally occurring, but scientists suspect man-made actions increase their negative effects. Severe droughts have plagued the western U.S. for the past decade, resulting in decreased water resources. In addition, a record heat wave swept through the Pacific Northwest this past summer, resulting in weeks where highs were 15 degrees Celsius above normal. Scientific evidence points to man-made climate change exacerbating these historically detrimental weather patterns. All of these factors contributed to a bone-dry south central Oregon landscape that was ripe for burning. While the Bootleg Fire was massive, it was by no means the only impactful wildfire to hit North America in the 2021 fire season. The 2021 wildfire season was possibly one of the worst seasons in recorded history. The Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre reported that wildfires had burned 10.34 million acres of Canada during the calendar year. On the domestic front, things were not much better. The National Interagency Fire Center reported 6.97 million acres of United States soil burning from wildfires in 2021. It was particularly bad in the state of California, as 3.1 million acres, or nearly half of the U.S. wildfire total, burned within the state. Of California's 20 largest fires, 17 of them have happened since the turn of the millennium, with 3 of these happening in 2021. Coming back to the Bootleg Fire, the damages caused by the fire can be split into two drastically different categories. On the one hand, you have the fairly mild damage done to man-made structures due to the Bootleg Fire. A total of 161 homes, 247 outbuildings, and 342 vehicles were destroyed. These losses are certainly devastating to the people who own these things, but for a fire of this magnitude, man-made damages were fairly light. In addition, there were no reported deaths or even injuries, which is a great news. However, not everything is sunshine and rainbows. The other category of damages was much more severe. The natural cost of the Bootleg Fire, as well as the resources expended to fight it, were enormous. At the height of the Bootleg Fire danger, there were 2,200 firefighters working around the clock in order to contain it. Even now, nearly 4 months after being fully contained, there are still active personnel on the ground ensuring that nothing reignites and the fire stays contained. Oregon Governor Kate Brown has signed a bill that invests $220 million to improve Oregon's wildfire prevention and response services and systems. The impact of the Bootleg Fire on the landscape of South Central Oregon is devastating and heartbreaking. It will be years before the ecosystems burned by the Bootleg fire fully recuperate. On the positive side, the grasslands burned should recover fairly quickly, so hopefully within the decade they will be able to be restored to their natural beauty. Unfortunately, the Bootleg fire also burned a large chunk of the Fremont-Winema National Forest, which could take decades or even centuries to recover back to pre-Bootleg times. The national forest was closed to the public as a massive wildfire raged within its borders, burning trees and killing animals by the thousands through a combination of heat, flames, and smoke inhalation. Thanks for listening. This was Owen Lewis from the Valencia College News Network.